What's up, Juventini? Ready for a normal day of news around Juventus? Keep waiting, all right? Douglas Luiz has an outburst on social media after a fan's comment. But is Douglas Luiz actually right? We'll go over the details on that one. Juve set to make a bid on a center back in Serie A. We've also got 4 targets at left back. The short list is out. We'll go over the names. Colomuani, his price tag is set. Cambiaso, are we looking at a price drop? What is the latest number? And then Yildiz, his punishment is set. It's official. We'll take a look at what he's facing. And, of course, look at the injury roundup ahead of the big game coming up against Bologna. I'm Berto. This is the AJ Sear channel dedicated to Juventus. It's April 29th. Let's rock with the news. And we kick things off with Juve set to make a bid on a center back in Serie A, and that is Diego Coppola of Verona. Apparently, Juve is set to offer up 9 million euros plus some bonuses to try and secure the signature. Diego Coppola does have interested clubs around Serie A, but Verona, being in a relegation battle, has absolutely no hurry or urgency around getting deals done or looking at contracts right now. They're going to look at everything in the summer, but it appears that Juve might try to jump the gun on some of the teams interested and put forth an offer to see if that would be enough to land the signature. All right, so Diego Coppola is one to put in our back pockets. When you get to left back, we have been one of the clubs linked to several left backs. Today we get the short list, 4 names that Juve could be looking at in the summer. De Kuiper from Club Bruges is one. Fran Garcia from Real Madrid is one. Miguel Gutierrez from Girona is another. And the last one is Nuno Tavares. Okay, and he is at Lazio on loan right now from Arsenal. Now, keep in mind, there is criteria there that could be met and make it obligation for Lazio to purchase, and apparently only at around 5 million euros. 20 to 40% sell-on clause there for Arsenal should Lazio move him on. So I don't believe Nuno Tavares will be one for Juventus. Unless the criteria isn't met and he heads back to Arsenal, I cannot see that one going down. Miguel Gutierrez is one that I would be very excited about, and I wouldn't slouch at De Kuiper as well. So for me, Gutierrez and De Kuiper are realistic, and I wouldn't mind either one of them. What do you think? How do you rank them? Hit me in the comments. When we get to Colomuani, apparently the details are out on what PSG is looking for. The price tag on his head is 50 million euros. Everything remains the same according to some media outlets there, that Juve has a meeting set for PSG. They are going to try to push for one more loan. But there is a contradiction there, and not just with Colomuani, but 3 other players, which we will get to. One of those other players, though, of course, is Douglas Luiz. And today he finds himself in the news after a little bit of an outburst on social media, on Instagram, after a fan basically posted a comment asking Douglas Luiz, "Did you come to Turin to post on Instagram or to play games?" And that's all it took. Now, bear with me as I read this off of my phone. This is Douglas Luiz's response. "I didn't come here just to post pictures. No one else has. And I want things to be different. I am here with a purpose. I listened to my heart when I arrived and decided to sign. Now I want your answers. Why didn't a purchase like mine play 2 straight games in this jersey? You can say what you want to the press later. Oh, Douglas is out of shape. Am I not fit? Question mark. Played all preseason and played every game. I just had one of the best seasons of my career. One of the best mids in the Premier League. Injuries got me back, yes. But how long did I stay on the bench while I was healthy? Very much. These injuries were not normal. I've never been much of an injured player, but there are so many things that might have caused this that I'd rather not comment on. I will continue to do everything for this club, even if it's hard sometimes. It's not easy, but you can count on me." Look, we don't need an essay to Randy from Omaha, all right, or Tony from Sicily as to why things aren't working out or what you're here for. You just need to show it. I can appreciate Douglas Luiz defending himself, okay? But there are some contradictions there. And he simply asks a question as to why haven't I played multiple games in a row? Well, you haven't been fit. What you did last season at the Prem doesn't really matter right now. And we do have problems with J Medical. We can all unanimously agree on that one. However, he literally posed the question, why am I not playing when I'm fit and still on the bench? Douglas, for that, you have nowhere else to look but at yourself. We're on a second coach, now Tudor. My theory is, you don't need to come out with an essay on Instagram. You need to show that you actually care and give off those vibes. I can't see Tudor straying away from you if you showed that you cared. Cope Miners has been struggling just as much this season, but I actually get the impression that he cares and he wants to make it right, and I don't get that from Luiz. Furthermore, his appearances have been bland. They have been meh. Nothing to them that makes me say you've got to be in there and we need to stop ignoring you. The moment of experimenting has passed. If you showed that you gave a shit, I think it would be a different situation now through multiple coaches. One that approved you coming in that seemingly didn't care, and now Tudor coming in, having us fight for top 4, and he seemingly isn't bothered by you sitting on the bench either. At some point, you have to take a look in the mirror. So for me, I appreciate the fight and the defense on his personal behalf, but it doesn't mean anything. And what happens on the pitch speaks the most. That's just my thoughts and feelings. Can't wait to hear all of yours in the comments. Now, we keep it rolling. As I stated, these two guys, Kolo Muani and Douglas Luiz, have contradicting reports around them in terms of staying with Juventus. Kolo Muani and Juve pushing to keep him. Well, there's a whole nother report out there claiming that if Tudor remains, there are 4 players to be exiled, and Kolo Muani is one, Douglas Luiz is another, Chico Conceição is another, and Savona apparently is another. Of course, Luiz and Savona would be sales. Douglas Luiz, Juve would just try not to take a loss in capital on the maneuver. Apparently, they did put a price tag out at 45 million in January. Only one Prem club came in. And Douglas Luiz remained with Juventus. But that's because he didn't want to join that club. If a bigger club would have come in, the theory is he would have left. What a tangled web we weave, but those are the reports nonetheless. For Cambiasso, we are starting to hear that he still has Man City and Liverpool interest, but the price tag taken a bit of a dive since January, as apparently Juve could accept 40 to 45 million euros for Andrea Cambiasso this summer. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I wouldn't be surprised. You know where I stand. I've kind of made a switch, but until Cambiasso's performances start to hit the heights of where it was at the beginning of the season, I am kind of on the fence as to whether we keep him, whether we sell him, especially at that price tag, etc. The player has the ability to play some fantastic football, but he hasn't been that guy for a long chunk of the season, and it's getting concerning. We just have to keep monitoring this and see what develops in the summer. For Yildiz, it's official. He gets his ban. It's a 2-match ban. He is going to miss Bologna and Lazio and have to pay a 10,000 euro fine for his actions in the match against Monza and the straight red card. For the injury roundup, getting ready for that big game against Bologna, Cope Miners has eyes on him. He's still training separate from the group. Lloyd Kelly, another recent injury, expected to miss 14 days. Tudor might have to come up with some solutions. We'll see what he can conjure up. For now, that wraps up your news break. You all know what to do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, join our AJC army, but I can't wait to hear all of your thoughts on today's news. Hit me in the comments. Let's mix it up. I'm back tomorrow as always. Till then, fino alla fine. Forza Juventus. Ciao tutti.